And we're back for a game between Kumar and Skinny Pete. Skinny Pete from Breaking Bad. You remember who he is. So Skinny Pete's obviously going to try something funky. And we are in a position which I often face in my own games here. And I like to play Bishop c5 at this point, followed up by Queen f6. The idea is that if you play here and knight captures, well, you still go Queen f6 anyway. And he's got to do something about the spawn. So while he's doing that, then you can of course capture the knight either with your queen or with the pawn. So those are some of the ideas. But in this opening, black captures first, and whenever you capture first, you're always conceding something. Especially in the opening moves, you should typically avoid being the first to capture like that. It's typically backfiring in some way. And now black is in a position which seems just fine, but it's actually not so easy to play. I personally think queen f6 here is perhaps the best way to play this, but it's admittedly not an easy position. Bishop d7 as well, but definitely not c5. c5 is lashing out. You're like irritated, so irritated by the queen that you just want to lash out and do something. But this is a heavily weakening move. Like it's just creating a lot of pain in the long run. And you're holding on to the position, you're keeping things solid, but objectively, white is in a great position at this point. There's no clear finish for white. There's no clear material gaining move, but the chips are well and truly in white's favor here. And now white plays this kind of sacrifice kind of move, but it's pretty deeply thought out, I would say. So hats off to white for finding this combination to win the extra piece there. And so here we have this kind of position, and white is +2 materially, and black has to try to draw the game. How does black draw a game like this? It's not so clear. But you just try to put your pieces on good squares and hope for the best. Maybe that's the best way to say it. So far, so good. I think all of this is pretty decent. Pretty decent play. Uh, Whether this is correct or not is hard for me to say, but it seems like it mustn't be too bad. I like it. I think so far black is playing quite well under the circumstances. Now, as soon as you see this, you've got to be thinking, can you play this? And the answer here is no, no, you can't. Because capture, capture, you rook capture, but then he has bishop check, and the rook captures back. So, important motif to keep in mind. Black obviously sees that, doesn't fall into the trap, and just plows on ahead with a4. But now, how do you make further advancements here? Normally, you would love to be able to bring your rook up and come in here and do something, but it's not so easy with the bishop guarding these key squares. So the rook can't really infiltrate with a rook lift so easily here. So this is probably the best idea. And now pawn goes up to f4, and now of course you can take it. Now you could take it, but it's a complicated line because white can also take back here, and it's a defended piece at the end of the day. So maybe it's better to do what black did because he's trying to be a bit spicy, trying to ruffle up the feathers. So this is some pretty decent play. And now here would be an optimal time to take it. Definitely here would make a lot of sense, but at this point it's very clear that black just never saw that idea. Never saw that idea. But still playing some good moves, making some incisive play. Some incisive play. Now, at this point, when white is trying to regain momentum in the position, black should not make it so easy. And one clever idea here could be rook check. And when the king moves somewhere like here, then bishop sneaks in here with a hidden discovered attack. So that could be a better way than just simply retreating. It's obviously always risky to play like this, so it's not easy. You have to think it through before you do it, but this is pretty decent. And here white makes a bit of a blunder, I think, because this pawn's not really going to go forward. Let's be frank. It's not going to go forward, and black is now all of a sudden quite safe as well. There's not much to worry about. And in fact, white is the one who is now under a bit of stress. And black's the one who's probing from many different angles, getting his pieces doubled up, threatening a lot of shit. It's still pretty okay, but it's scary. It's scary, and so white starts to react. Black comes in with a check, another check. The pressure is starting to mount. And how does black tighten the noose in such a situation? He seals the outpost for the bishop. Wonderful maneuver there. Wonderful maneuver to just keep things tight and locked and in control. And white now lashing out a little bit over here. And finally lashes out with a move like this. Okay, he didn't follow up with another check because I guess he saw there's no real point to it. But played this kind of move, which is a little bit desperate. And one of the bad ideas in this move, by the way, is that, well, you just take it. Even if you just take it as black, white captures back, you have this lovely rook fork with the bishop. I think you have it. Yeah, you have it. Even though he has the intermezzo check, the rook is ultimately trapped here because both these squares are guarded. So that's one of the key ideas. However, black decided to do a check, and now white really needs to block it with his bloody rook. But somehow he thought he can just step back and survive. And now here, what's the winning move? You guessed it. Bishop check. It's a mate. Bishop check mate. Right there. Right there. Amazing maneuver. But it wasn't to be. It wasn't to be. This happens. This happens, guys. You know that. But either way, it was a pretty good continuation, winning the bishop and finally delivering the same kind of checkmate on the back rank. So a nice finish and a pretty good game overall. So well done.